All right, so we've got some fun information for us to talk about regarding JJK today, and that is in context of a stream happening Thursday morning. And honestly, I think this one could end up being one of the most exciting and most impactful streams we've had this year, if not the most impactful. So we're going to talk about what exactly I'm expecting alongside what we are pretty much confirmed to be getting. Now, in this stream, they confirmed that there's not going to be any new units, but that doesn't make it that it's going to be any less hype in my opinion, because of the fact that we might be getting some pretty special buffs coming up. So I'm going to be streaming this, and I would love if you guys go down below and just like the video and turn notifs on if you plan on being there. So as you can see, there is something that I personally believe is going to be happening, right, on the screen right now. So we're going to talk about that in this video. So this is related to the, what is it called? The Cursed Prison Island arc. And, you know, unfortunately, as I'm JP, this isn't something that really is going to impact my enjoyment of the game too much, negatively or positively, because, well, I can't read Japanese, so that's the main thing about that. Now, what could we expect in this update? Usually, there's a couple things that we do end up getting, and one of them is a nice little roadmap. So that's one of the main things that I think is going to be quite nice, is that we're actually going to be getting a roadmap. Every single stream up to this point has brought one. Now, this one was very bare bones, pretty much gave us absolutely nothing for the future. So my guess is this stream will actually reveal more for like December, January, and hopefully February. I do think the possibility of there being some info regarding calling games in the future, I think this is the stream you would see it in, right? If there's any chance of any calling games stuff happening, it would be in this stream, at least for like early 2025. 2026, goddamn. So yeah, that's the main thing. Now, as we can see on this thumbnail, I'm thinking something else will happen, and that is the 3 anniversary units for First Annie. So that would be Zonji, goated unit. That would be Domain Gojo, one of the best units, the best unit on release, right? I don't think any unit has come close to his oppressiveness when he released. And Sukuna, what once was the most universal DPS in the game. So those are the 3 units that I'm expecting to get either or both a special banner or SP buffs. Or not SP buffs, sorry, just normal buffs. So what I mean by normal buffs, let's go into this, and we're going to talk about the special banner that I've been kind of discussing a good bit. And that is in relation to December 13th. We had last year, December 13th, 2024, Character Balance Update 2. So if we check this out, we see that a bunch of these units ended up getting buffs. Now, these were buffs straight implemented into the kit, and one of the best things to come out of this was Ghetto's. Ghetto's buff was absolutely ridiculous, and that is the original way on how we got this buff, right? Where he could give up to 150% Jujutsu damage received increase. That was from this update. So if we look at this, right, we're able to see all these units not only got some good buffs, some whatever buffs, but they all got SP buffs this year. So I think it is very likely that this year we do get SP buffs for First Annie, but mainly, you know, when we look at Sukuna, when we look at Domain Gojo, these are 2 units that have kind of aged out of the meta pretty much completely, right? People like to say, you know, Sukuna isn't like too bad, but I would definitely say at this point in the meta, there's not much making him good, right? So I definitely think it is possible for those 3 units to get normal character buffs right now, and then afterwards in 2026 get SP buffs, right? Now, this also has more weight to it because they got Yuta and Ghetto got their SP buff a year later. They came out December of 2023, they got buffs December 2024. We got these units in November and December with Sukuna. They could easily get, in December 2025, they could easily get some buffs, right? Doesn't need to be too crazy. I don't think so. For Domain Gojo, I would definitely say all you need to do is 2 things. You could make his skill 3 have 1 higher crit rate and also 2 do more damage. Like, I don't know, fucking do 1,000%, right? Some crazy shit like that. And the other thing, the only important thing is make it that he leaves on like turn 16 or 17 instead of turn 9. This is going to allow him to stay the full time and sweep, right? And also going to give him more debuffs. That's literally the only change you need to make, and suddenly this guy is close or back in tier 0. As simple as that, right? I really think it doesn't get more complicated than that for Domain Gojo. Now for Sukuna, it does get a bit more complicated. So the main problem is that he takes a while after his ult to get his ult gauge back. Now, there's one big thing is that he doesn't get many stat buffs. Maybe on his skill 2 or something, maybe when he crits now, he's going to get like damage dealt and like 40% stat buffs for taijutsu and jujutsu for 3 turns maybe, so he could get up to 80%, right? And then also he has this if he like gets hit. So I think that would be enough, especially in combination with the rec bit that gives jujutsu. It would be enough for the ultimate, in my opinion. And then afterwards, maybe just like, I don't know what else they could do. This guy just doesn't have a very 2025, 2026 type of kit, right? Maybe just make it that he gets more ult gauge when he crits, right? Kind of like Blue Yuta, and then he should be good, because it's very hard to get his ult again. That's another problem with him. Now, then there's Zonji. Do we really need to do much for Zonji? No. Like, honestly, these buffs don't need to be anything crazy, right? Zonji is still top tier, so it's mainly just preparation for his SP buff. So whatever direction they plan to do his SP buff in 2026, then I think they could easily give him just a normal buff, right? Maybe just little damage buffs, and maybe when he black flashes, he gets 10 cursed energy. That's like the only thing that like sometimes can be annoying. If not, maybe just give him more black flash rate. Like it could be minute buffs. It doesn't need to be big. He doesn't even need a buff. But I'm just saying it's because he's in that like trio with like Domain Gojo and Sukuna, so it's like it's possible. Now besides that, there's some other really good things that to keep in mind with this like trio banner, and that's the wrong November. So essentially, do they not? Where is it, man? I guess they didn't put it. Well, let me go find it. So yeah, the trio banner with basically over a 2 times rate up than normal could easily be like Zonji, Domain Gojo, Sukuna, right? Imagine them on one banner, how fucking good that banner would be, right? Sukuna and Domain Gojo definitely aren't as good anymore. I just don't think it matters, right? If they get buffs and next year SP buffs, the value that you're going to have from summoning on this banner is going to be pretty tremendous, because Zonji's still good. He's 0.5% rate up. Then you have Sukuna and Domain Gojo, which, you know, Domain Gojo is still good and still, you know, going to be good. And it's probably with a buff is going to be very good. So I think it's very possible we get this type of trio banner if they get buffed. Even if it's slight buffs are enough for those limited units to like come back and be like tier 0, 0.5, right? And Zonji's still tier 0, so there's also that. So yeah, that's kind of it for first Annie reruns. But besides that, I'm also thinking they're probably going to introduce the 1.5 reruns, because for 1.5 we got the reruns for the half Annie before. So we got Zonji, then we got Domain Gojo, and then we got Sukuna. So I think the same thing could happen for HI. And then the other thing is that because this is OC story, this is a big one. Because it's OC story, something that I'm personally expecting is that we're going to get some grade increases. So I think that it's going to be very likely that we get maybe to level 170, 180, right? So either that or we get a new type of leveling system, but I think it's extremely possible that that actually does end up happening, to where we're going to see some really crazy ass grade increases at some point. And that's going to be a nice little stat buff for everyone, where everyone's going to get more stats. So I think that, you know, tower is going to become easier, and it's perfect timing because, well, right now, tower is still pretty difficult. Okay, if you don't have all the units, hell, even with dupes, right, like you're suffering. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do. But this stream has a lot of potential. However, I don't really have much hope in them anymore, unfortunately. So until they do anything, like, this is mainly just speculation. I hope we get more information on what they're doing for domain investigation event. Like, if it released in September, it's going to come out again in January. If they're taking that long, it needs to be good. Now, with that said, I'm going to be streaming Thursday morning, so I'll see you guys there. And I hope we get some really good information, because if not, it's going to be very disappointing and a pretty just unfortunate anniversary, considering the only thing that the devs, like Omori, the lead developer, seemed to hype up at that point would have just been more units, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think. What are we going to get? Bye-bye.